ReCore is one of Microsoft's biggest exclusives for 2016, and is the first game to take part in the Xbox Anywhere program, which was hotly touted at the E3 this year. But is the game good? Is it any fun? Coming into the game, you're introduced to Jewel, a girl who's seemingly all alone on this far-flung planet called Far Eden, after evacuating Earth some 200 years before. Jewel and the other colonists were kept in suspended animation while, theoretically, robots terraformed the planet.
We couldn't load all the heavy equipment we needed onto ships and bring it to Far Eden. Instead, the core bots would have to build it.
Of course, since this is a game, the terraforming didn't quite go to plan, and now there's robots rampaging all over the place. As you progress through the story, you start to discover more about the background to Jewel's character, and the fact that the relationship with her father seems to be the central theme here. Her father was the one who created the technology which made the core bots, the central mechanic of the game, possible, and equally the ones that are running amok on the planet. There not being any other humans around, Jewel isn't quite alone. Mac, her trusty dog robot, is there to assist you in combat and dig up exciting things, although more often than not he comes up empty. There are other core bots introduced as you progress through the game, each of which has their own special ability which allows you to access different areas, whether that's crawling up walls or smashing through great big lumps of rock. There's a big emphasis put on the different primary colours used in the game to represent different personalities of the robots, which seemingly should work together as a cohesive unit, according to the audio logs left by their creator.
This is Dr. Julius Roldan, Chief Scientist and Far Eden Project Leader.
In practice, using each of the main first three bots that you get, which cover the red, blue and yellow colours, their behaviour in combat is fairly similar and fairly simplistic, however completely crucial to your success. Rushing into the fray without using your core bot effectively will cause death more often than not. Which leads to one of this game's biggest problems, loading times. Each time you move to a new area or you die and have to respawn, reloading takes far too long. It can be 30 seconds to a minute every time you want to load into a new area, and it can be just the other side of a door. It's a shame really, as the worlds as a whole look pretty good. The lighting effects are pretty much up to standard for what you'd expect for Xbox One, and the bright colours really sort of bring that out. The structure of the game is basically a dungeon crawler, something similar to Legend of Zelda, even complete with over-the-top treasure chest opening animations. It might be a bit of an unfair comparison, but really ReCore sets itself up to be compared to Zelda and a lot of other games which do a lot of these things better. That's not to say that ReCore isn't fun. There's plenty of different mechanics which are thrown in here, but maybe not quite enough to justify a full price purchase. In all, the game lasts about 8 to 10 hours depending on how conscientious you are about collecting everything and discovering all the different audio logs that are available. And to be honest, I feel like it could have done more. Even the individual dungeons themselves don't feel that distinct from each other and are generally quite short. It's definitely a game made to kind of dip in and out of rather than lose yourself in the world. Combat can get pretty hairy at times as you have to match the colour that you're firing to the colour of the enemy. It seems pretty simple, but as the enemies change types often as you're fighting them, you're constantly mashing the D-pad trying to work out what you need to shoot them with next. Thankfully, having a core bot on hand allows you to break down enemy shields quickly and hopefully help them to take down. Which brings you to the next main mechanic, extracting cores from enemies. Once you get enemies down to a certain level of health, depending on whether you've taken them by surprise or not, you can yank out what is effectively their power source and render them completely destroyed. It's something you have to get used to quickly, and that you can't just yank it out every single time. You have to sometimes ease off and then pull back to make sure that the line doesn't break as you're trying to do it. This mechanic gets reused for door switches and other puzzles as you go through the game as well. And while it is fairly original, it does get a little bit repetitive having to open doors in such an elaborate fashion. While the game might not be the classic that Microsoft needs right now, and certainly isn't up to the standard of something like Sunset Overdrive in terms of the Xbox exclusive lineup, it's definitely good fun, and you can dip in and out of it easily. There's a fair variety of different game types, whether that be third-person action, platforming, or puzzle solving, and it keeps everything quite light and easy to manage. As usual, whether you need to pick this one up depends on what you really enjoy, but there's certainly fun to be had here. Have you played ReCore? Are you enjoying it? Leave us a comment below and read more on passthecontroller.co.uk. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos and updates from PTC.